Welcome to Equal Entertainment. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. We all have either experienced it or imagined it. Beefing with someone during a road rage incident. Living in Los Angeles, I can certainly relate to this. A new series on Netflix is taking that exact premise on with an all-star cast in Beef. Ali Wong and Yeun go head to head in the new series. They star as Amy and Danny, two strangers who meet during a road rage episode. Their worlds collide and their feud eats away at their lives and relationships. It's extremely funny, but it also tackles serious subjects that fly under the radar. I spoke with Ali and Steven, along with co stars Joseph Lee and Young Mazzino, about the smoke and mirrors of social media, supporting those who are struggling with mental health, and more. First, congratulations on the series. There's so much going
Thank
on
you.
with it. It's incredible. And I want to go first to you, Ali, and talk a little bit about Amy and this notion of being this woman who has it all, but doesn't quite have it all because there's something that she's still yearning for. And I wonder, would you touch on that idea of how things may look one way on the surface, and then there are things roiling underneath.
I mean, I think that's like we all learned at this point with social media that like it's all a lie, right? So it's like you see people and they're like perfect architectural digest homes, with their like fruit bowl and their fresh flowers and their like perfectly coordinated outfits with their families, and it's like seemingly like this so relaxed and so easy and so beautiful and so like natural. But then it's like, you don't know what's going on in these people's lives. Like after you take that one photo, like those people might be at each other's throats. The kitchen might be a mess. There might be like out of toilet paper. Who knows? So it's like, I think just kind of like delving into like what is behind all those lies, is fascinating and as you can see, like really worth exploring.
And done so well in Beef. So thank you for that. And then Stephen, I wanted to touch on your character Danny, and something that is not really discussed, especially for men, where there's a facade, but he's really dealing with depression, and coming in part by being working class and struggling to make it. And would you talk about what that means to put that visibility into the ether?
Yeah, there's a lot of in that same sense of like the performative nature of social media. Sometimes it feels like we're so easy and ready to throw away lives and throw away experiences and ones that feel maybe not cool to talk about, but those are lives and those are people's existence, if not probably most of our existences. And I had the pleasure of being able to work alongside Andrew Cooper, who was our set photographer, and he was amazing to do this with, because he does like Scorsese films and like Tarantino films, and like he said yes to TV for the first time on our show, and he came every day to shoot us. And the thing that I would talk to him and chat to him about is he's just like, never bail on Danny, like never bail on Danny. And I feel that deeply, of just like Danny can be very cringe. Danny can be a very shameful expression of us, and especially the way we talk about people these days. And so it was really nice to have, one, to be able to work with Ali, who creates like a safe space in that way, like such a welcoming, vulnerable space, and then to have like everybody else involved, like Andrew, even down to Andrew, who was there shooting photos, just to be like, have those conversations of like, these are real people with like real lives, and can you talk about them in earnest? I definitely relate to those experiences too.
I wanted to start with you, Joseph, because first I just want to say that they did a really nice touch with costuming with your Rafa cycling gear.
Goodness.
I'm a cyclist, and it's such a specific.
That means the world to have your validation. So thank you. Yes.
Of course. Well, the question I really want to ask you about, though, is this idea where George is really this kind of modern, very evolved guy who's kind of swapping domestic roles with his wife, whereas a lot of the series has some pretty angry people in it. And I wonder, would you talk a little bit about that? Taking on that kind of role as the leveler and the calm one and the kind of peacemaker of the series.
Yeah, well, I actually think the leveler is all of that rage and just unhappiness that all the characters share. If anything, all of the evolvedness that you're seeing from George, it's all a facade, it's all a veneer. And I think as the show transitions, I think the audience begins to see that kind of chipping away at itself.
Thank you. And then for you, Yeun, Paul is very involved with his brother. I mean, he can't really get away from his brother's issues.
Sure.
And would you talk to the notion of family and just, being there and supporting someone who's maybe not necessarily doing that well, whereas Paul seems like he just really wants to have a good life and a nice time.
Yeah. I think family is one of those things that it's like they can be your castle and your cage simultaneously, especially with an older brother like Danny. And as Paul is he's on the cusp of becoming a man and filling his own shoes, there is familial pressure coming from Danny and wanting to stay within the troop, but Paul at the same time is like a nonconformist. He wants to get into crypto and doesn't want to do the standard traditional path, but he doesn't know how to break out of that, so that creates a lot of conflict. I think the conflict comes from wanting to be a good younger brother and a good son, and being unable to do so, and that's where a lot of that lies.
Yeah. Thank you. And then I wanted to ask you, Joseph, would you talk a little bit about the role of class in this series? Because it's really, you have the haves and those who, working class who are really, really struggling, and just how that plays in.
Yeah, I think Sonny has just created this phenomenal show where he's brought forth these very heavy subject matters, and yet they're also very relatable.
Yeah.
And he's kind of really shown these things and how they are informed by class and culture. And how that manifests in a way of showing good and harmful behavior. And he's really kind of done that without having any type of pizzazz or polish to it. He's just kind of authentically showing you what it is.
Yeah.
And to me, I think the show really has an original take on that. And I think it's going to start a lot of great, wonderful discussions around class and culture.
Yeah, incredible. And then finally for you, Yeun, we touched on Danny as a character as well, but he's also coping with some depression, which is very real, and it's not something that a lot of people talk about. So would you talk about that piece of the show as well? Also, I should say it's such a funny show, but then there are heavy topics. So.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Depression is something that just lingers in a lot of people, and it it permeates through whoever you're connected to, and I think Paul can see that, and that's particularly why he wants to veer away, because he sees where Danny's headed and sees that depressive state, and wants to escape that. But I think he'll come to realize that's just a part of life. It's inescapable. Life is irrational and full of hard times. So
and
gotta buck up.
I'm sorry. I'll also add to that I think Sonny, he doesn't force feed any of these subject matters to the audience. I think he plants seeds for people to see and explore.
Yeah.
But I think the rest is just up to the audience to really take that in and apply it to their own lives.
Thank you so much to Ali, Stephen, Joseph, and Yeun for joining me. I'm really enjoying this series. It has a lot of laughs, but as the star said, it doesn't shy away from shedding light on important issues that all of us face today. Beef is streaming on Netflix on April 6th. Visit us on the Advocate Channel YouTube page for more equal entertainment coverage and full interviews. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and that's what's happening in entertainment.